Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
I have a personal sort of obnoxious question out of my own interest. Have you ever seen the recent like 2013 Star Trek Into Darkness movie? I'm a big Star Trek
Yeah,
fan,
yes,
so
right,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
At the beginning of that movie, they have Nibiru where they're trying to shut down the volcano
right,
with the red plants and the people wearing yellow and stuff. I've always
right.
wondered, did they put any research into that, or was that just entirely made up? Did you see
Well, I
anything there
imagine
where?
that they had some level. I imagine they had some level of information, and somebody back there who spent a little bit of time studying in through the 70s and 80s and 90s
Yeah,
may have picked up that information. And or Hollywood, there's two factions in Hollywood: one that keeps us asleep, and one that's trying to wake us up. And with smaller, minor, various factions in between. So I think maybe it was a spark of interest that you can get people to go look up a topic, and maybe they started down that path. And when I saw that, I chuckled over it big time, and I went, oh, I love it.
yeah.
Except Nibiru is not red. We know that Nibiru is a blue planet. We know it's massive. It's a water planet because
The one in the
people
movie
do
had a
not
big
live.
enough ocean to hide the Enterprise, so it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, smaller planets. There is such thing as space water, and that's water can land on any planet, and it just takes the electrical sensor charge in order to deal with the atmospheric conditions that will create water because of accelerated proton and neutron exchange between passing bodies, and that's literally how all that stuff occurs.
There
It's
was
accelerated.
a researcher, Richard Hoagland. I'm not sure if you know the name, who
Mhm.
basically said that Hollywood was preparing us for
Yep.
disclosure, is how he put it. And you said that there's two camps. Do we know which is which, or is it
No, we
just
don't.
so vague?
Oh yeah, well and I try to tell people that there are when we look at, we'll talk about the Texas cube and the long box cube. That is one faction, and then Nibiru and all those guys are another faction, and then there's all the other factions that are also here. So there's multiple factions. All anybody with money that's trying to covert or subvert uh, the scenario for their own best special interest or whatever. And that's where I also talk to people about religion. There is no real evil. There's just factional agenda. So there's all of these people that are trying to get us up in gear because we deserve it. We deserve to ascend into the Federation. We deserve to have longer lives as well, which is also possible. And so, and we're going through this cycle because they need us to be far less of us. And this is going back to that guy's question about the genocide. And yes, every cycle, numerous bunches of us vanish. Every cycle. It's a culling of the herd. I don't talk about it because I try not to go there with people and be negative. And Hollywood, there are some people that have enough money and have enough time and have done enough research and know the right people that they're also trying to hint and get to save as many people in a way that they're not going to screw over their own affiliation in money and everything else and status, and yet talk about it in a way that maybe they can get. And this is what I do with a lot of Montana Skywatcher 2. I do a lot of hinting. I don't come out right all the time and tell people the answer, because if you let them find the information on their own, they are more likely to believe it than if you just tell them everything, because they're going to lose a lot of that information. But when they discover it for themselves, they actually take on a higher level of understanding. And yes, I believe that there are some Hollywood factions out there that are actually trying to push us forward because there's a lot coming. We have a lot of time and a lot of things to do next cycle. And it's going to be different than any other cycle because there is the decree that says that we are supposed to, some of us, actually accelerate up in the evolutionary process as humans and break away from the factory planet scenario and elongate our lives and become a member of the Federation and actually have a voice for that which is occurring to our race.